Good morning, students. Today we can see about the nitrogen. So nitrogen is one of our most important element, and then plants, animals, and they will be needed a nitrogen for their growth purpose. So all the living organisms, that is including humans, so contains the nitrogen. So every one of us living organisms need a nitrogen. So and that is the essential element that is present in a proteins and nucleic acids, so which we will be saying as a building block of living things. So nitrogen is the building block of living things. So that was first isolated from the air by Daniel Rutherford, by the person Daniel Rutherford in the year 1772, and he named the name nitrogen is derived from the Greek word that is nitron and gene, that is a meaning I produce a nitrite. Nitrite is the potassium nitrate compound of the nitrogen. So this is a small introduction about the nitrogen. Then next, occurrence of nitrogen. So the nitrogen is the fourth most abundant element in the human body. So that it accounts for the 3% of the mass of the human body. It has a 3% of the mass of the human body. So that is thought to be seventh most abundant element in the universe. That is the seventh most abundant element in the universe. So the Titan, the largest moon of the Saturn, has an atmosphere made up of 98% of nitrogen. That is made up of 98% of nitrogen. So the nitrogen occurs both in the free state and the combined state. It occurs both in the free state and the combined state. So nitrogen exists in the free state in the atmospheric pressure as a dinitrogen, that is dinitrogen N2, and it is present in the volcanic gases and the gas evolved by the burning of coal. The nitrogen present in the combined state in the form of minerals like nitrate, that is KNO3, and chill saltpeter, salt P3, that is NaNO3, and it is present in the organic matters like protein, enzyme, nucleic acid, etc. So next we can see the physical properties of nitrogen. It is a colorless, tasteless, odorless gas. Then it will be a slightly lighter than air. The nitrogen will be a slightly, comparing to the air, it will be very less. Then it is also soluble in water. The nitrogen becomes a liquid at low temperature and it looks like a water. When the nitrogen is freezes, it becomes a white solid. So the nitrogen is a neutral to the litmus like oxygen. Next we can see the chemical properties of nitrogen. Chemical reactivity. So the nitrogen is inactive at ordinary condition. It will be inactive at the ordinary conditions. It combines with some of many elements at high temperature. It will be combine the elements in the high temperature and the pressure, otherwise in the presence of the catalyst. Next, combustion. So the nitrogen is neither combustible nor a supporter of a combustion. So the nitrogen in the air moderates the rate of combustion. Next we can see the reaction with metals. So the nitrogen is reacting with metals. So metal here we have taken as a calcium. So what does that mean? Nitrogen is reacting with the metals like lithium, calcium, magnesium, some etc. at the high temperature to form the corresponding metal nitrates. So after reacting with the metals, we have to get a metal nitrate. So what is it? Metal plus nitrogen, that gives a metal nitrate. We have taken here the metal as a calcium. So 3 calcium plus nitrogen gives the CaN2, Ca3N2, that is calcium nitrate. So this is nitrogen that is reacting with the metals. So next, nitrogen is reacting with the non-metal. So the nitrogen react with non-metals like hydrogen, oxygen and many other elements at high temperature to form the corresponding nitrogen compounds. In the metal they will be getting a metal nitrates. In the non-metal they have to form a nitrogen compound. And non-metal plus nitrogen, that gives that is a delta as a heat symbol. That is a heat symbol in the chemistry. So gives the nitrogen compound. So here we have taken as a hydrogen, nitrogen, that gives the ammonia. So 3H2 plus N2 gives the 2NH3. So the NH3 is the ammonia. So next we can see the uses of nitrogen. So the liquid nitrogen that is used as a refrigerant. and it provides the inert atmosphere for the conducting certain chemical reactions, and it is also used to prepare the ammonia by the Haber's process, and that is also converted into the fertilizer and nitric acid. And nowadays it is used for the substitute for the compressed air in tires also it is used nitrogen. Nitrogen is used for filling the space above the mercury in the high temperature of thermometer to reduce the evaporation of the mercury. So and the nitrogen is also used in many explosive like TNT, that is the trinitrotoluene, and nitroglycerin and gunpowder that contains the nitrogen. And the nitrogen is also used for preservation of foods, manufacturing of stainless steel, reducing fire hazards, and as part of the gas in the incandescent light bulbs. So these are the uses of the nitrogen. Next we can see the nitrogen fixation. So the nitrogen is getting circulated in the air, soil and some of the living things as the element by itself, otherwise in the form of its compounds. So the circulation of carbon in the nature are also, so also there is a circulation of the nitrogen. There will be a, in the environment will be having a circulation of the nitrogen. So that is essential for the proper growth of all plants, and the plants cannot make the use of the element nitrogen from the air such. So the plants require soluble compounds of the nitrogen. It requires the soluble compounds of nitrogen. So the plants depend on the process of the supply with the help of nitrates. So what is nitrogen fixation means? Any process that converts nitrogen in the air into the useful nitrogen compound, which is converting the nitrogen in the air into useful nitrogen compound. So that is called as the nitrogen fixation. So fixation nitrogen carried out both naturally and by the man also. So this is about the nitrogen fixation. Thank you, students.